Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padukamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha. So today's topic of Sri Harikatha or Sita Rama Katha is a bit sophisticated by nature. Okay. One of the sincere Krishna devotees asked a question to me, good question, very reasonable, very justified and reasonable, okay, sensible question. So, in the context of answering her queries or question, I am offering this Harikatha, dedicating today's Sri Sita Rama Katha, happily explaining, analytically explaining things, issues as necessary for clearer and more reasonable understandings. So maybe it would be best to read her question. Have it? You can read it out. Let it be recorded.
Yeah, but
Oh, the same. Oh, you can find from here also. Let's see. Don't. Hare Krishna. From this one.
Dear Guru Maharaj, I saw you have happily reached trance. If you have a minute, could you please kindly write me a little explanation on this stubborn question in my mind? Why Sita and Rama are honored as an ideal couple? The confusion comes from the events that happened after Lord Rama saved Sri Sita from Ravana. She was asked to prove to everyone that she was innocent, and even after that she was rejected by Rama. Is it true that after that she had to live in the forest? I think it's very sad and unfair for Sri Sita, and it doesn't look like eternal love to me either. So please, can you please say something on this matter?
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Close it quickly. So, clarifying about this issue, first of all, I want to clarify about the then scenario, cultural scenario of the society when Lord Ramachandra and Sitadevi lived on this plane. Okay, in connection, first of all, we also need to understand about the conceptions, or thought structure of the ethics and morality, moral rules, regulations of the society at that time during Lord Rama and Sita Devi's time. Okay. So during those days, the social norms and the conception of the social ethics and morality in relation to the marriage, in relation to the proper ideal marriage and marriage obligations, ethical moral obligation of marriage was that both husband and wife both must remain very faithful, trustworthy to each other. Okay, during their married life, of course, obviously, they would not be breaching any such rules or ethical rules, morality, as established as they are supposed to observe. If there is any breach, then it would be judged accordingly based on law, the appropriate laws and rules, regulations of living a married life. So, must be considered well and judged equally with the principle of application of equal justice to one and all, whether kings, queens, or other big political persons, political leaders, or political people holding high position like ministers and all. Also, the common subjects of the kingdom. So, the laws, the standard of justice must be applied, implemented equally. In other words, following the laws or system of equal justice for one and all, whether king, queen, or any powerful political leader or ordinary subjects, common subjects. So what happened during that time, if husband or wife would be in wrong association for a while and was in a doubtable position of losing moral character because of being in the wrong association, being allured or being even helplessly obliged to be engaged in some wrong doings which would be breaking their moral character, ethical character, connecting to married life, then whether husband or wife both needed to be rectified properly. But they would not be allowed, or they should not be allowed, or would not be continuing their married life thereafter just in a normal, nice way without proper rectifications, purifications. Or even without receiving some punishment as a part of rectification, some measures of punishment as a part of rectification, purification, all that. So, that's the first part. I've just described the scenario of the moralism or ethics, ethical standards of those days. Even some of them also applied, implemented, found in the modern era also, more in a relaxed way. Okay. So, what happened basically after that Leela took place? After the Leela activity happened, Ravana kidnapped, Ravana, the symbol or the almost the representing the personality of evil, I repeat, the Ravana representing the side of the evils and evil deed, evil temperament and nature, kidnapped Sitadevi, goddess Sita, took her to Sri Lanka and kept her there for a more or less relatively a long time period there. Although he could not touch her, okay, but because Sitadevi was just left over there, was taken there and kept there for a long time in that kind of wrong Rakshasa association or tamasic, rajasic type of association there. Then at some point, Lord Rama rescued her, saved her from there with full respect and honor and great joyful celebration, brought Sitadevi back to Ajodhya and naturally declared her to be the righteous queen of the Ajodhya, as Lord Rama was the king, undisputed king, okay, the great glorious king of the high honor and principle. Similarly, Sitadevi was declared, and even it was not depending on any kind of official declaration, because Sitadevi was already now reinstalled or re-accepted as a glorious, the most honorable, respectable, glorious queen of the Ajodhya kingdom besides Lord Rama. The great glorious king and great glorious queen. So, what to speak more of Lord Rama or his brothers? But practically the whole royal family at that time and most of the subjects of the Ajodhya became so joyful, so delighted to see their great beloved king and queen are back, and they took their own natural positions, royal positions, so highly honorable. So, all of them were engaged in delightful celebrations for days. There are festivals. Festivals in Ajodhya went on for days, okay, celebrating the comeback of their great, most honorable, most respectable, glorious, beautiful king and queen. But what happened? Just later, what happened within some days, that few of the subjects of the Ajodhya, few of the common people of the Ajodhya started to have some doubt about the character of Sitadevi, the queen, because the mentality, the temperament of all the mentality and temperament of all the subjects, all the common people cannot always be the same. Because always some of the common people have some kind of more crooked mentality, mind set up, more narrow and doubting type of nature. And might be that was also indulged by certain kind of political motive. So those few people started having a gossip about Sitadevi's character, started to express doubts about her character. Why? Because she got kidnapped and kept by Ravana in his kingdom, in his capital for a long time. So they wanted the proof. What was the proof? What was their mentality? Okay, their mind set up and mentality was like that. What was the real proof? Evidence that she continued with her moral character in a respectable way. What was the evidence? Why should we be so sure about it? Nothing went wrong there. While she was surrounded by the enemies, especially Ravana, kidnapped by Ravana, because the main purpose of Ravana to kidnap her, to take her away, to enjoy Sitadevi, to enjoy her. So how could it be the powerful king, so strong and very strong and powerful, demoniac, evil king Ravana let Sitadevi live so alone and left her alone without touching her, without trying to enjoy her? How could it be? Because Ravana is an evil type, demon, so aggressive type, evil, aggressive type. So might be something went wrong, might be Ravana touched her or tried to molest her character, Sitadevi's character. So although Sitadevi didn't want that way, he never wanted that. She might have strongly opposed to that, invasion of Ravana towards her. But in spite of that, Ravana, the evil demon, might not have let her stay alone or live, might not have left her alone peacefully. Something went wrong. And without proper clarification, how their great king, emperor, Lord Rama, could so easily accept her, continue to be accepting her as his wife, respectable wife, and moreover as the queen of this Ajodhya kingdom, without much clarification, without placing before us the proper evidence, proof to rectify our doubts. On the other hand, we claim, the royal family they claim Lord Rama to be very righteous, king of all righteousness. high-class morality. But if anything happens in our family life, in our married life, anything goes wrong due to wrong association, whether or not we want to invite something wrong in life, but if anything happens, then a certain type of justice will be implemented on us, okay, as per law. But why the similar type, why the same law and, okay, ways of justice, principles of justice will not be implemented to our king and queen, in case of king and queen? Because what? Because they are so strong and powerful. Exceptions can be made in their life because they are enjoying the royal power. They have the royal power. They can do anything they like. And when it will come to our case, well, it will be coming to our case, our context, then all that justice, law and rules, regulations, I repeat, all the rules and laws of justice will be only applied to us to punish us. It's meant for us only, not meant for king and queen, for the royal figures, because they are powerful. Then where is the equality of justice? Where is the implementation of equal justice done by Lord Rama for all of us? Because he is powerful king. Therefore, he is making the exception, taking the advantage of his royal power, taking the advantage, full advantage of his royal power. And that is so, if this is the case, so really its right to equal justice is not being applied. Okay, maybe it's taking the opportunity of his royal power. It should not happen. Not expected from a noble, righteous king, emperor like Lord Rama. So, few of the narrow-minded subjects, people of the Ajodhya, started having gossiping against Sitadevi, expressing doubt about Sitadevi's character. All this. And even expressing doubt whether Sitadevi had to surrender to Ravana's invasion, surrender any way or accepted any way of Ravana's desire to enjoy her. There is no evidence there, so they are doubtful. Even though 95% or even 98% of the subjects of Ajodhya are all in favor of Lord Rama, Sitadevi, all glorifying and celebrating them without any doubt, because they already understood by their common sense, by their natural common sense, Goddess Sitadevi, Queen Sitadevi, as pure as divinity, as pure as supreme divine. In other words, she was the personification of all holiness, sacredness. There could not be any stain, anything wrong in her moral character. Okay, she resisted Ravana, no matter how strong, evil king he was, but she resisted Ravana for sure. She would not let Ravana touching her, what to speak more of enjoying her, because she is goddess, our Lakshmi Mata, Mother Lakshmi goddess. So Ravana could not do anything. with her. We are sure about it. So they had no problem. But it was, after all, it was the play of Lord. It was some kind of play to promote the heroic glories of Lord Rama and others, and to promote and to identify Ravana, to prove how evil he was. So such play was required, such type of Leela activity required between Lord Rama and Ravana, to differentiate between good and evil, to differentiate between the high class and low class, extreme good and extreme evil. Okay, and that how much Lord Rama loved our Queen Sitadevi, how much he loved her. He was devoted to her in loving her, taking care of her. How much pain of separation he took after Sitadevi was taken away from him. Okay, and how much he was determined, very, very strongly, powerfully determined to rescue Sitadevi. And he made, how much sacrifice he made, to take the preparation, okay, to rescue Sitadevi, defeat, destroy that evil force, Ravana. And he dedicated so much time, energy, with deep pain in heart caused by the separation from Sitadevi. Okay, due to his intense love for her, intense loving care for his ideal wife, beautiful, beloved wife. So he spent so much time, energy, prepared the army, made the bridge, built up the bridge throughout the ocean to reach Sri Lanka, and taught Ravana a good lesson, finally destroyed that evil power and rescued his wife Sitadevi, and felt so happy, delightful, so blissful, without having any doubt about the character of his beloved wife, without questioning anything. So he so gladly, so blissfully just accepted Sitadevi in a natural way, rescued her and embraced her as queen, as his ideal wife, beloved wife, in a very natural way, without having any problem, having any kind of trouble or any tinge of problem in his mind, doubting her character, because he knew Ravana could not do anything with her. And there was no problem for others with Lord Rama, his big army leaders, other royal family members, his own siblings, Lord Rama's own siblings. They had no problem. Almost whole Ajodha, 98 to 99% of the subjects of Ajodha had no problem. Only now few, 1 or 2%. They had the problem, might be they were influenced in a wrongly political way. There's some, in politics, all the subjects, people cannot be very great and generous and nice and noble. There are always some bad people are there with bad mentality. So, she's doing fine. She doesn't understand things, but just.
I will translate after one.
Okay, but she's okay to be waiting here like this without understanding anything.
There's no worry, she said.
Okay, appreciate that, appreciating. So, back to the point. So always in a kingdom, in the country, there are some people wrongly motivated, having the crooked temperament, crooked, narrow some sort of vicious temperament, vindictive attitude, vindictive mood and attitude. You know what to do. The mundane world. After all, at that time it was also mundane plane, mundane world. So that's how some gossip started. Very wrong, dishonorable, dishonoring gossip started by some of the common people there. And eventually that gossip spread. Then eventually it came to the ear of Lord Rama and Sitadevi. Now, in order to maintain the righteousness, although personally Lord Rama and everyone was 100%, 200% convinced about the, about the holy character, sacred moral character of Sitadevi. Okay, without any kind of tinge of stain or anything. But yet, when such gossip started spreading among the subjects, among the people, ultimately reached his ear, it came to his ear, then in order to set the righteous and moral examples and to remove any kind of doubts from other minds that there cannot be any equal implementation of the equal justice principle because of the royal power, royal advantage. That, in other words, Lord Rama was not going to implement the right to equal justice, implement the law of equal justice because of his special royal power. That way, he was not really interested to implement his righteous principles, what he is so popular, not just popular, what he is so famous and glorious for. So, then, in mutual discussion with Queen Sitadevi, Lord Rama had to take up some decision to clear up the doubts and to set a very good example that he is a righteous king. Sitadevi was also righteous queen, and they care for the laws of equal justice for one and all. Care for higher moral principles, ethics, social ethics. Although Lord Rama was greatly pained, intensely pained at heart, it was intensely painful for him to listen to such gossips. But in mutual discussion with Sitadevi, he had to take up a strong decision. Very undesirable decision. What was a great suffering for him. He personally felt insulted, dishonored by such expression of some doubts, even by some small number of his subjects. But because he was a king for all the subjects, every people in his kingdom, whether good or bad people, but he was the king of all of them. That was his righteous principle. And he would not live alone. he cannot do anything to take less care of even the bad subjects of his own kingdom. He was such a righteous king. To correct them, it was his duty to even correct those common bad people, few bad people, to rectify them, but first of all, by making sacrifice, setting the example of making his personal sacrifice, no matter how painful it was for him. But still, he decided to make his personal sacrifice in relation to his wife. To clarify, first of all, to set some examples from his side first before going to rectify those subjects. What kind of noble sacrifice doing? And he discussed with Sitadevi. And in those days, there were some systems of holy ordeals going through fiery test. And Lord Rama was, of course, assured of the fact. Test of fire, no doubt, no matter how it was looking so cruel, like burning, very painful, burning experience, but because it was an ordeal fire, because his queen goddess Sita was no ordinary person. She was a goddess. She is a goddess. So going through fire ordeal will not be so disturbing, so painful, so big painful test for her. But at the same time, if he goes through that ordeal before others, publicly, okay, then it will be clarified. Whole this matter of the doubt and all these evil gossips done by some of the narrow-minded, wrongly motivated, doubtful subjects, doubtful people, will all be clarified. When such examples are set, Sitadevi goes through the ordeal test, fiery test, and she comes out. She passes through that, comes out, then it will all be stopped. All these gossips will be stopped. So when he spoke to Sitadevi about it, obviously she felt insulted. Obviously she felt pain and insulted. To be hearing about that, she has to prove it. She had to prove the purity of her character through fiery taste, ordeal. She has to pass through that. She had to go through it. So naturally she was also very pained, very, very sad. And more than her, Lord Rama was pained. He was grief-stricken. Lord Rama was so grief-stricken, going through more intense pain even compared to what Sitadevi was taking. Because it was Lord Rama took it as a direct insult to him. Anyone pointing finger to his ideal good wife, anybody, I repeat, anybody pointing any finger, okay, to his beloved ideal wife, meaning directly, he was taking it as direct attack to him, more than his wife, because they are non-different. Beloved husband, beloved wife, non-different. So he actually took it as a direct attack, insult towards him. But he could be managing it on his own because it was attacking him, but he could not tolerate that his wife, his ideal wife, would be attacked in such a way. But he had to tolerate because he was in the position, He was in the ideal, he was in the lofty, noble position, royal position of a righteous king. He was in the position of holding the position of a great righteous king, to uphold the high morality, implementing law of equal justice. If any, even if 1% of the subjects of his kingdom has got any doubt, it was one of his moral principles to take care of that and properly do something to properly clarify about that. It was one of the noble duties of becoming a noble king. Even a few of the subjects, few of the people, subjects of his kingdom, even had any doubt about his queen, his wife, it was his moral duty, moral responsibility to clarify, about that. And in those days, a great way to clarify about that, to go through ordeal. And so, he talked to his wife Sitadevi, Queen Goddess Sita, about that. Both are full of pains, both are grief-stricken. Both are very, very sad. But upon understanding the position of her husband, I repeat, upon understanding, realizing the great noble moral position, righteous position of her husband, Sitadevi ultimately agreed to do that sacrifice, to pass through that ordeal, fiery test. Whereas, besides that, Lord Rama was he felt so much insulted, so much pain inside, personally. But he also had to accept that. Holding the position of a very righteous king, without any fault, without any kind of failure or relaxation in the social law or ethics, because he has got royal power. No. So he also took the decision of making that sacrifice. He also allowed, now at some point he also allowed his beloved wife to pass through that ordeal, fiery test. Then at one point it happened publicly. It happened. And Sitadevi easily passed through that ordeal, holy ordeal, fire test, and came out happily. Then, all the subjects, maximum of the subjects, most of the subjects of his kingdom were already pretty sure, completely assured about Sitadevi's character. They had no doubt. But still, not only, besides Sitadevi and Lord Rama, they also took a lot of pain and sadness. Why our queen had to go through fiery test, ordeal. They also didn't like it. They also didn't support their king's decision, their noble king's decision to let her queen, let her beloved wife pass through that ordeal test. See, most of the subjects are not in favor. But after all, it was the decision of their righteous king. So they could not say anything, and they also understood the nature of their most noble, righteous king. He would do that, no matter how much personal sacrifice it involves in his life, personal insult, but he would do it. We know our king. We know our noble, righteous king. He would do that. So with tears, so much tears of pain, even those subjects also saw that, including those, that crooked type of the doubting subjects, doubting principles, doubting how do people. And in front of all their eyes, Sitadevi came out. He gloriously passed through that fiery ordeal test and came out. Then everybody became super happy with tears of pains and joy. Tears of pains and joy. So, most of the subjects of kingdom said, look, we already knew it. This is our queen. We already knew it. Because of those few evil-minded, narrow-minded, crooked-minded people, why our queen had to be put to test? It's a great insult to all of us. So they began to be furious with those few crooked people who created wrong gossips. But of course, Lord Rama interfered. Lord Rama himself interfered. No, don't be doing that. Never. Okay? They according to the law of this kingdom, even if they have some narrow mentality, but they also have full right to be doubting. It's their birthright. That right is given to all the subjects. They have some rights of having doubts. Okay? And rights to have their doubts clarified. So, don't do anything. Don't do anything to them. Don't try to attack them or torture them. Pacify them. And so they followed the decision of their king. Okay. And then Lord Rama gave the message, addressed them. Now you are satisfied. Now you are all satisfied. You are all doubt clarified. They of course said yes. Those people of course had to admit yes. You are happy? Okay, fine. This chapter is over. So then that gossip stopped. Gossip stopped and everything was just fine. Everything was just fine with all the clarities and all the clarity, with the clarification those doubting people needed. All right. Besides that, because after all, Lord Rama and King Rama and Queen Sitadevi were not just ordinary common kings, commonly great kings and queens. Okay, Lord Narayan and Lakshmi, both of them. Then Lord Narayana Lakshmi Tattva. In other words, Sri Krishnachandra Srimati Radhika Tattva. So, another Leela also happened. We cannot miss that point. That Leela was that is Sita, goddess Sita, whom Ravana captured, kidnapped, was not even the real Sita in the first place. What happened, that Leela, wonderful, mystically wonderful Leela, happened, before going away, Laksmana, he drew the line, which is called Laksmana Rekha, drew the line before Sitadevi. And now I am going out in the forest to help my brother, to take care of my brother because you want me. You are again and again wanting me to go away. I know no evil power can defeat my brother, okay, to bring any harm to my brother. So in the forest, so you don't be doubting now. I am deputed. I am commissioned by my elder brother to protect you. I cannot go away. But when Sitadevi was furious with it, Laksmana, your brother wants, that demon was copying Lord Rama's voice calling, "Oh, Laksmana, Laksmana, please come, help me, I am being attacked, I'm in danger." Okay, copied the voice of Lord Rama and it reached the ear of Sitadevi. "You go immediately to help your brother." Laksmana said, "It's all bogus, fake things. Here in the jungle, many things happen. Demons know how to copy, so don't be, oh Mother Sita, my Mother Sita, don't be influenced. I know nothing happened to my brother, elder brother. He's protected. He's super excellent hero. He's super powerful hero. Nobody can do any harm to him. So remain rest assured. Stay rest assured. Nothing happening to my elder brother. He doesn't need my help. If I would know he would really be needing some help, I could feel it. I could know. But this is a fake sound, faked by a demon. Okay, faking the sound of my brother crying out for help by a demon, so I don't need to go. Sitadevi didn't, she became so emotional. She didn't want to believe in his word. She was angry with Laksmana. At some point, she insisted, "You must go out. I don't need any help. I don't need you to protect me. Okay, you don't need to carry out the order of your brother to protect me. I can protect myself. You go help your brother." Laksmana had to go. And before going, he drew on Laksmana Rekha, thick Laksmana Rekha before Sitadevi, earnestly requesting her not to cross over that Laksmana Rekha, whatever happens in this forest. Okay. For the protection of Sitadevi, see, Laksmana drew that. Laksmana Rekha, that was spiritually empowered, that Laksmana Rekha. So what happened when that Ravana came, to cut the long story short, when that Ravana came, because today it's not my point to describe all those in details about how Ravana kidnapped. So to cut that long story short, when Ravana came in the disguise of a sadhu and begging alms from Sitadevi. So as soon as Sitadevi was calling, Sitadevi knew that Laksmana requested her not to cross over the Laksmana Rekha. So she requested Ravana to come inside. As soon as Ravana did not know, as soon as Ravana tried to cross over Laksmana Rekha and come inside, big blazing fire immediately came up. Ravana got afraid. Then that Ravana immediately had the vision, oh, it was not ordinary lion drew by Laksmana, it is spiritually empowered. Okay, spiritually empowered. So I cannot cross over, I will be burnt into ashes. But when he was trying to enter, Ravana could experience blazing fire to burn him, but Sitadevi didn't see that, really. So then Ravana took the plea, I cannot, please you come, oh beautiful Sita, please you come crossing, I am a sadhu, I don't want to enter into this ashram or your kutir, you are there alone. Okay, I am a sadhu, I want to keep some distance. Okay, some distance from you, I am a renounced monk, so please you come over and give me alms. Sitadevi, in the beginning, Sita disagreed, saying, no, I cannot do that, I am prohibited. I am prohibited to cross over that Laksmana Rekha. Sorry, I cannot do it, you have to come. Then Ravana knew he was a good manipulator. He knew how to manipulate Sitadevi's mind. He said, okay, so I am going away now. Myself a sadhu, renounced monk sadhu, came here begging for alms, and you don't even want to take a little, come out a few steps ahead. You cannot come out and cross this rekha okay, just a few steps, give me alms. You cannot do it. So, okay, I am now going away without having my bhiksha from you, without having my alms from you. I am so hungry, I needed it, so I am going away. As Ravana began to be acting like that, hypocritically acting like going away, few steps, Ravana knew Sitadevi won't let it happen. She would be very kind. She is with very kind heart. She would not let it happen. So it happened. So it immediately happened in that way, the way Ravana was thinking and trying to manipulate her. Then Sitadevi said, "Stop. Okay, please stop. I am coming. Because you are a sadhu, in order to give you alms is my holy duty. I cannot refuse a monk, a sadhu, from giving some bhiksha, no matter what will happen. Laksmana is extra careful about me, protection. So no matter, I cannot let it happen before my eyes. I cannot let it happen, allow it to happen before my eyes. A sadhu is going back without receiving any alms. Hungry sadhu going back. Okay, I am changing. I am changing my mind, I am coming." Ravana was very happy inside his mind, but he maintained his pace. So when Sitadevi crossed the line, no blazing fire came out, firstly. But Laksmana actually put a thick Laksmana rekha. So as Sitadevi first was crossing that Laksmana rekha, that line, in the beginning there was no blazing fire. But as he was still continuing to cross that Laksmana, in the process, the small process of crossing the Laksmana rekha, at some point, a big blazing fire came all over. And what happened, as if Sitadevi had to pass through. But actually, she had to pass through that big blazing fire, came out from the Laksmana rekha drawn by Laksmana. But Sitadevi passed through that. But what happened? As soon as Sitadevi was in the process of passing through, it was a thick Laksmana rekha, like big, thick, not just one thin line passing through. The real Sitadevi disappeared in that blazing fire. And a fake Sitadevi, like a kind of a replica, how do you call it? No, there's a word for it. Copy, kind of replica, a copy, or there's another word for that. These days, scientists are creating from the cell. There is a particular word for that.
Artificial.
Not artificial.
If you take the ADN of someone, DNA, and you
Clone.
Clone. That's the word. So, then what Sitadevi emerged thereafter from that blazing fire was a clone of Sitadevi, kind of fake Sitadevi. Maya Sita. It is stated in the Holy Scripture, explained in the Holy Scripture, Kurma Purana, and also quoting from Kurma Purana in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even explained by Mahaprabhu himself, Lord Chaitanya himself. The kind of Sita, the Sita Ravana kidnapped, was a Maya Sita, illusory copy of the Sita, not the real Sita. Real Sita already disappeared in the fire. Okay. Now, back to the point. Back to the point of the ordeal test of the fiery Sita. So the other main aspect of the Leela was there. When now this time, when Sitadevi entered that fire ordeal there, now mystically, that real Sita came out, okay, from the fire ordeal of the fire, And that Sita, which was still being beside Ramachandra, disappeared there. Okay, through that fiery taste, fire ordeal. So now the big question will arise. Oh, Lord Rama, all his royal families were so repentant, took so much pain, and organized so much army and fought for cloning of Sita, for a fake Sitadevi. Well, it is by the influence of Yogamaya. It so happened, even though Lord Rama knew about it, Lord Rama, Laksmana all knew about that fact, but by the influence of Yogamaya, by the wonderful mystical influence of the Yogamaya, so happened Yogamaya Devi made Ramachandra forget, Laksmana forget. So they took it as if the real Sita was kidnapped. Although Lord Rama knew Sita is none other than Lakshmi. What was Lord Rama? What was the power? What was the power and strength of Ravana before Sita? If Sitadevi would have wanted, just by the fraction of the willpower, she could have destroyed Ravana then and there. Just by the fraction of her willpower, she could have destroyed Ravana then and there. What to speak more of kidnapping and touching, touching and holding her and putting her on his chariot and taking her. In that way, Ravana touched Sitadevi in order to kidnap her, but all being done to the Maya Sita, fake Sita, not the real Sita. Ravana could not touch the real Sita. That was the fact. So, whole thing was a realistic, dramatic play. And because, so by the influence of Yogamaya, Lord Rama, Laksmana, all, Hanuman, all made to forget. See, Yogamaya Devi is empowered in such a way. She can even influence her lords to forget, okay, to forget everything, and she has got the right given by the Lord to compose the Leela, prepare the Leela the way Lord wants. And she is like organizer, arranger, organizer, according to the sweet will of the Lord, even influencing the Lord to so much so, making her Lord forget about the real reality, to make the Lord be absorbed in Leela reality, okay, dramatic Leela reality rather than real reality, tattvic reality. See, that Yogamaya Devi is specially empowered to do that, to facilitate the Leela of the divine couple, whether in the form of Sri Radha Krishna, in the form of Sita Rama, even in the form of Lakshmi Narayana. Otherwise, no Leela would happen. So, that's what happened. Therefore, we find they took it. Lord Rama, Laksmana, Hanumanji, all army, they took it like real Sita was kidnapped. And Lord Rama was furious, he was filled with so much pain, okay, suffering with so much pain and separation, pain of separation from his beloved wife, Queen Sitadevi. Okay, furious. Everybody was so angry and declared war against Ravana, destroying that evil force. Okay. And that influence of Yogamaya over Ramachandra, Lord Rama, it continued acting until the real Sitadevi came out of the fire ordeal now. Then immediately Lord Rama, as if kind of getting out of the dream's influence. Oh, okay, this what happened. Okay, now I have got the real queen, real Sita, came out of this fiery taste. Then, as if he could remember, it was reminded, Yogamaya Devi withdrew the influence. Yogamaya Devi now mystically, wonderfully withdrew the influence, her influence from her own Lord, everyone. Okay. But so Lord Rama could realize, others could, Laksmana could have experienced a similar way, but other subjects who are witnessing, they did not know anything. They thought, okay, the same real Queen Sitadevi now happily passed through the ordeal test. Okay, ordeal fire. Now everything is set right. Although it was very insulting. We are very, very angry for that. Why our great queen had to pass through this test? Why our king allowed it? Our king should not have allowed it. But then understood. Then they also tried to understand. We know the character of our righteous king. He would not slacken or relax any rule, any law of the country, law of equal justice, because she was his queen. Okay, we know the character, very noble character and nature of our righteous king, righteousness. So he would be doing sacrifice, personal sacrifice, but would not be relaxing the rule, laws of the country, that of equal justice, or clearing up, clearing up the doubt as necessary, even if it's demanded. Okay, required by only just a few of the common people, not by the majority at all, only a few. But still we know our king. Even for a few subjects, he will be doing something. If he has to make any sacrifice, he will be doing that. He will be ready to make any sacrifice to satisfy them, clear everything to them in a righteous way. Righteous way. That is our king, we know. So despite of their great anger, great sadness, great resentment against those subjects, few people, still they tolerated. And now they also all became happy. Now our queen now passed through the ordeal. Okay, everything is okay. Now everything is minimized and settled. Okay. So that's what happened. So thereafter, all the gossips and everything stopped. It was resolved. Now, thereafter, everything was going on, continuing very fine way. Okay. The great king and great queen were running the kingdom, continuing with their royal duties, taking care of their kingdom very nicely, beautifully, happily. Everybody became very, very happy and everything. Now thereafter, again similar issue came up. I'll go to the bathroom and come back. So now thereafter, how it happened. In course of time, then another phase of gossiping came up in the Ajodha kingdom. Okay, at that time, we know the nature of this mundane world. Even if things were going on, continuing very nicely, properly, okay, truthfully, positively, but still there are always some people of substandard mentality and temperament, a very narrow and crooked mind setup, politically doubting mind setup. So that sections, a small number of that kind of people again started raising some gossip, creating some gossips unnecessarily, just unnecessarily, without any ground. Without any ground. In other words, it was very absurd. It was simply absurd. Again, doubting about the character of Sitadevi, even after all this. In the mundane world, there you can find there are some people who are just unreasonable, very absurd, stupid, not just stupid, very stupid, idiot kind of people with very, they're crazy actually, they're not normal. Very abnormal, crazy type of people, stupid, out of nothing they create something. Okay, even they impose something bad on the positive happenings and try to make the positive things as negative, good things, make the good things look as bad, and distort, pervert the things out of their evil temperament, very nasty, evil temperament, very tamasic temperament. They make the good things looking bad. It is a reality on this mundane plane. So what happened? There were also same kind of people, same type of people, very few in Ajodha, during Ramachandra's time also. So despite the fact all this already happened, everything was resolved, okay, everything resolved through fire ordeal, everything resolved, everything all are going on happily, positively, flourishing, everything. Some of them again started gossiping, wrong gossiping, based on, just due to their rubbish mentality, absurd. They're crazy people. But again, why? One of the main reasons why Lord Rama is worshipped, is upheld as the most noble, righteous emperor, that he even did not ignore the demands, the feelings of the crazy-most subjects, most crazy, most abnormal, crazy, vindictive type of subjects also in his kingdom. He even wanted to pay attention to what they are saying. Even the most crazy people, unreasonable people, people of vindictive nature, he also cared for them. Epitome of nobility. Like your bad children, same parents, becoming affectionate, also paying some attention to the worst type of children, after all, children. They are also children. That's how Ramachandra treated Sita. Ramachandra, Sitadevi, the noble king and queen, treated all the subjects in the Ajodha, in the surroundings, in their kingdom as their children. Most of them are very good children, very good, good quality children, and some of them are boisterous, spoiled type. But still, they were their children. So again some new gossips, new crazy gossips came out around the character, doubting the character of Sitadevi. In spite of all this, again they became, both of them, the most noble king and queen. Okay, Rama, Sita. So again both of them again became sad. They again became very sad and disappointed. But still, they decided to take care of those spoiled children also, subjects. Paid attention to what they had to say, what further doubt they had. And again, like in the wartime, many false rumors spread in the internet. For example, even in the modern age, you can find many false propaganda, many false news rubbish, false, baseless news are spread throughout, like truth. So, although in those days it was not internet like this, electronical internet, but there was a network, hearsay, through the words getting spread in the society. By the words, through the words from one to another, through hearsay, and again getting more perverted and distorted, some of the bad things, baseless bad things, would be spread. And again, it started happening like that at some point. Something totally absurd, rubbish, baseless, crazy stuffs again started spreading. Some rumors about the character of Sitadevi, around the character of Sitadevi, started spreading around society. Again, that noble king and queen became sad to see that, to hear it. But before punishing and rectifying those crazy, unfortunate, crazy, evil-minded people, they took up a noble decision, very sacrificing decision. See, it was them who was making sacrifice in the first place, before even trying to correct and punish them. Epitome of nobility, pinnacle of noble sacrifice. He could have easily, Lord Rama could have easily ignored. It's too much. Okay, it's crossed the limit, too much. Let us ignore, and they should be punished. Okay, they should be corrected through punishment. It's too much. We cannot tolerate anymore. I cannot tolerate anymore that this kind of boisterous, spoiled people, again pointing out to my wife, to my queen, okay, they should be punished. But after all, Lord Rama, I feel like crying. What kind of sacrifice? What kind of painful sacrifice they did for their utmost care, even for spoiled children, for some spoiled children, for spoiled subjects. Even from the stand of justice, he could have just ignored, at least ignore. Don't pay any attention. They're just rubbish, idiot, rascal people. Okay? And they should be just punished for rectification. Well, at some point, Lord Rama took some measures to rectify them and to bring them to the truth. You cannot be doing it. You cannot be, instead of, in the name of justice, you are doing great injustice to my queen, to my wife. You have no right to do it. It's too much audacity. So he, and from the royal administration, some measure was taken in a nice way to correct those people, not heavy punishment or anything, to correct those people. But on the other hand, before that, they decided to make further sacrifice. Even for those kind of people, that quality, the low class people. This was Lord Rama. This was Sitadevi. So through their mutual discussion, now this time it is explained that this time rather Sitadevi requested Lord Rama to allow her to go away. Because of her, she felt with so much pain in heart. Again, she felt because of her, now her husband is going to be stained. Her husband's character is going to be affected again and again because of my issue. So the solution is that let me go away peacefully. Let me go away. Let me make this sacrifice in order to protect the image, the noble image of my husband. Better I should go away. I am the cause. I am the main cause. I should go away. Lord Rama didn't want to agree. He vehemently protested. He did not accept. But it was now, at this time it was Sitadevi who kind of insisted, requested her husband to let her go away. To let her go away to a nice place. Okay. At some point, to the extreme sadness, extreme pain of separation, to the feelings of extreme pains of separation from Sitadevi. Ramachandra accepted that. And then in the ending chapter, the last chapter, he accepted it with extreme resentment, painful feelings. Not only for him, Sitadevi too. She was also in extreme pain of separation, feelings of separation, okay, from her husband, beloved husband, before even starting for going to the forest. Apparently exile, but still they took that decision. And at some point, it appeared to be that Sitadevi was sent away by Lord Rama. But factually it was opposite to that. Lord Rama could not tolerate that. He took so much pain to accept that. But this time also Sitadevi requesting Lord Rama. Kind of requesting, although she could not do it, because requesting that it took so much for her to make sacrifice, to go away from her own beloved husband, whom she loved. Both of them loved each other, okay, to the extreme transcendental point, epitome level, to the epitome level. I repeat, they factually loved each other to its last limit. They are the pinnacles. They are the pinnacle of having love for each other. The pinnacle, I repeat, of the examples of extreme love for each other. See, the word pinnacle means extreme, so I am trying to doubly qualify it. Pinnacles of intense love for each other. Yet, they took that decision. And when Laksmana came to know about such decision, he was angry now. He was becoming angry with his elder brother. Because he was also taking so much pain. Again, to set the example, because this gossip came around, oh, Sitadevi is queen. Oh, they love royal comfort and enjoyment. So as soon as that kind of gossiping, crazy gossiping reached Sitadevi's ear, this time she also wanted to set a noble example that she was not attached. She was not that attached for enjoying the royal comfort and opulence. Because of that, she could not leave it behind. See, she already left it behind and went with her husband Lord Rama in the forest, in the exile for 14 years. But still these crazy, vindictive people unfortunately didn't understand. Deluded, these people are crazy, deluded, abnormal people. So in order to set a very good example of noble sacrifice, this time Queen Sitadevi also accepted such decision of leaving all the royal comforts and opulence, enjoyment, life of enjoyment, royal enjoyment, all behind. Although they were not really having luxurious royal enjoyment, they were just accepting as necessary as the king and queen, as natural for them. Yet, but if some of the people are thinking like that, they were having very good life. They're having a life full of enjoyment, royal opulence, royal comfort, so much royal happiness, facilities, enjoyment. And we are common subjects. Because of that, Lord Rama also slept on the floor. Because all the subjects of his own kingdom could not be affording nice bed and everything. Okay, some of them were poor still, living very plain, simple life. So being an ideal king, how could I be enjoying royal comfort? Okay, so this is Lord Rama. He willingly continued sleeping on floor. Mostly hard floors, sometimes being requested by his brothers and others. They could not tolerate such things because they could not take so much austerity like Lord Rama. And he was the main king, emperor, their beloved emperor. They could not tolerate. So because of them, they would be accepting a little bit like a bed sheet, like something. Mostly on the hard floor or very thin mattress could be being requested by them. But Lord Rama made that sacrifice, set that example because many of his subjects, poor subjects, could not be affording nice bed and all. So he also wanted to share the same experience, take the austerity. And when he did that, his brothers, other siblings, even Sitadevi also had to do it sometimes. But Lord Rama was telling, I am doing it on your behalf. I am taking such sacrifice. I am doing it on behalf of you all. You don't need to do. Why you should be taking so much austerity and discomfort? It is my duty to do that. Until and unless every of my subjects of my kingdom can have the facility of sleeping on bed and having the riches to facilitate it, to live their high-class life. So not only sleeping on floor, for Lord Rama, not only sleeping on floor, even enjoying tasty foodstuffs as regards eating, drinking, sleeping, living his lifestyle. He adopted more plain lifestyle as regards his okay, eating, sleeping, or enjoying comfort, he accepted mostly plain way, except for the time of the royal duty when he was sitting on the throne. So that has some special dignity and it requires special royal honor and dignity. So he had to carry on that tradition, high respectable, high honor of his king's position. But other than that, in his personal life, he was living in a plain, simple way. Although all the royal opulence and comforts are all deserved by him, ready to serve him, he did not. Time to time he accepted just to continue with the royal standard and royal quality. But mostly in his personal life, he was living like sadhu. In his royal family, in a very plain way. This is Lord Rama. This was Lord Rama. And Queen Sitadevi also had to follow. Had to match, had to be matching with her husband's way. Okay, how could she take extra comfort and opulence and enjoy royal things? And her husband is taking such holy penance, living in such plain and simple way. If not penance all the time, but very simple, plain way. So back to the point. So here now Sitadevi was prepared. And no matter how painful it was for Lord Rama to accept it, but he also accepted it. Sitadevi wanted to set the example before the whole kingdom subjects that she was not attached. She was not attached to all the royal opulence and comfort and high lifestyle. She could easily leave behind to set a noble example. Set another most noble example. Then they decided together. And Sitadevi accepted it. Laksmana became angry, crying and crying, weeping, crying in pain, and became a bit angry with his elder brother. See, he could not take it. Nobody could take it. The Sitadevi would have to go in forest, although it was ashrama. But again, she was queen. It was her right, natural right. Also, besides that, it's natural right to stay besides with her husband. It was a cruel thing, very, very cruel decision. But at last of all, Sitadevi accepted it. Ramachandra had to somehow allow, even though could not accept such cruel decision at his heart. Well, so at some point, it appeared to be Sitadevi was sent out to some forest exile. Again, I repeat, it appeared to be Sitadevi was sent out by Lord Rama to the forest exile. But actually it was not real exile. Okay? Exile means something like just helplessly, cruelly leaving someone in the forest without any protection, without food, water, shelter, protection, it's a punishment, that is exile. But that was not what was given to Sitadevi by Lord Rama at all. Okay? That was not what was happening. Although it appeared to be kind of Sitadevi was going out in the forest exile, but actually she was Actually, she was sent to the shelter of Rishi Valmiki, great sage, great Rishi sage, pure devotee, Valmiki Muni, in his beautiful ashrama there in the forest, where all the good facilities for living a good life, good standard, happy life in that purified sattvic atmosphere was being available. So Sitadevi was sent out to his beautiful ashrama, where all the facilities for living a life in the higher mode of goodness, sattvic life, were available. Good food to eat, good water to drink. So good food, good water, good shelter, okay, good place to sleep, good environment to bring up the children. And eventually Sitadevi gave birth to the twins, Lord Kusa, in that ashrama, under the guardianship of Valmiki. In relation to Sitadevi, he was grandfather figure. Grandfather figure. Very lovingly caring guardian of Sitadevi and Ramachandra's children, the Lord Kusa. So Valmiki Muni was actually entrusted with the responsibility to take care of Lord Rama's beloved wife Sitadevi, to take care of the goddess, divine goddess Sitadevi, and the children were not yet manifested yet, but going to manifest. Two twin sons of Lord Rama, Kusa. And Valmiki Muni also knew about that. He was foreseer with the higher spiritual, mystical ability. Valmiki Muni was a great foreseer. So he could easily foresee everything what was going to happen, why it was happening in such a way. So he welcomed that decision. After all, she could have her daughter like Sitadevi close to him in his own ashrama. He felt his ashrama was going to be blessed with the presence of Goddess Sita. See, that's how he felt. And he lauded over that feelings and experience. Now, his beautiful ashrama was going to be now blessed, specially blessed with the presence of Mother Lakshmi, my daughter like Sita, Goddess Sita, and Lord Rama's twin sons going to be delivered here. And now I am entrusted with such beautiful service, my devotional service, to my beloved Lord Rama, to take care of his wife, Queen Sita, my goddess Sita, my beloved goddess Sita, and her twin childs, Lavakusa, going to be born. And then after they are born, they are very nicely taken care of by Valmiki Muni, trained up, educated. They were educated up, very nicely trained up, educated up in a material social way, as well as moreover over and above high class spiritual way. Both the sons were educated, okay, under the gracious guidance, affectionate guidance of Sitadevi, their own mother, and also Valmiki Muni himself in his ashrama. Okay. So back to the point, Queen Sitadevi was well taken care of, okay, by the great sage Valmiki Muni in his ashrama, because the this Supreme Lord, the Ishtadeva of Valmiki Muni was Lord Rama, and Sitadevi was none other than Queen of Rama, beloved wife of Lord Rama. So Valmiki Muni also worshipped, adored Sitadevi in his ashram and felt blessed with her presence. So that was a deeper reason in order to satisfy the desire, a cherished desire of Valmiki Muni, that she could also be serving Sitadevi and twin sons, twin childs of Lord Rama. Lord Rama also accepted. This is another aspect of the Leela. And that Sitadevi also wanted to live in the ashrama life. She wanted to live the ashrama life. Set that example. Although it was too much sacrifice for her, for Lord Rama, to stay separate from each other, apparently, outwardly. But because it's a higher spiritual world divine, so inwardly they were so connected, so intimately connected with each other as beloved husband, beloved wife. So physical difference did not make any difference. Physical, this is the mystical, spiritual side of realization experience. No less reality than the apparent objective realities of their separation. And the apparent objective type of realities, which was being shown externally, that they were separated from each other. It did not really make any difference. Physical distance or physical separation are not. It did not really mean any real separation. Inwardly, spiritually, and to their divine selves, to their divine identity, both are divine. Themselves are divine, but by other aspects. Lord Rama, Sitadevi were originally divine selves, both, not that they had a material body. Lord Rama and Sitadevi had the material body like us, human body, although it was looking like that, appearing to be like that, but they already had divine bodies, divine forms. But by other aspect of their divine identity, divine selves, they became united with each other. They got united with each other as husband-wife, beloved husband-wife. Okay? The transcendental, through transcendental dimensions. And that was realistic. That was their realistic union, loving union between them, without depending at all the external physical separations. Realistically, they are united with each other intimately. I repeat, by factual reality, by factual, as a matter of fact, a real fact. Fact is fact, I don't need to say real. But anyway, for doubly strengthening, empowering my expression. So, by the reality, by the fact, they are being united with each other intimately as beloved husband-wife, unseen and untouched by others, transcendentally. So when we understand from the higher spiritual perspective, I repeat, when we really understand and conceive of the whole picture of the Leela from the higher spiritual and divine perspectives, transcendental perspectives, then such issue doesn't arise anymore. Lord Rama was being so cruel to her, or she was really separated from Lord Rama. Such issue becomes invalid. But that side, that aspect has not been described in the scripture in a vivid way, in a clear, vivid way, because according to the wish of the divine couple, Lord Rama and Sitadevi, it remained more covered, hidden, confidential. That aspect remained more confidential, more privately reserved way, like hidden treasure. One of the hidden treasures of the sweet divine absolute. It was not spoken out, but it happened. It was realized by the exalted pure devotees. That's how it happened. So, in order to properly understand the activities, happenings in the life of Sita Rama, only conception, the apparent conceptions of the activity cannot be enough, cannot be good enough to have the entire vision. To have the entire vision, picture of their Leela and activities. Some portion of their activities are more human. Okay, I repeat, a great portion of their activities are more from the human stand, human dimension, whereas other big portion of their activity as a Leela are all superhuman, but transcending the normal human conception and level. It remains reserved for their own personal way, for their personal life, for the personal, for their personal happenings, truth. So, and a big portion of their activities, Leela, remained reserved as their own personal treasure, transcendental to other common man or even common devotees, even to transcendental to their common devotees. Only the special devotees, high class, most advanced devotees could experience that and realize about it. So according to the other version, Sitadevi did not know about before she was being sent out to the forest, to the ashram of Valmiki. In other words, Sitadevi was not really aware of the fact that she was being taken to the ashram of Valmiki Muni and will be left there for the rest part of her life. Okay. And according to that version, Sitadevi was told that she was just going out with the Laksmana for having some entertainment, for seeing the sight and spending some time in the ashram of Valmiki Rishi, like retreat. I repeat, that's what she was told, that she was going out for a very nice retreat. Okay, spending a very nice time in the ashram of Valmiki Muni, and at least spending few days, and then come back. But then Sitadevi actually came to know about that she had to stay there for last portion of her lifetime, okay, without coming back to Ajodhya kingdom. But even thereafter, even upon knowing about that, thereafter, through mutual but internal understanding with the Lord Ramachandra, he managed to digest that. He managed to digest that fact. He managed to embrace it, and thereafter she felt happy. She managed to live a happy life, happy ashrama life, being under the loving guardianship of Valmiki Muni. And she also nicely brought up her twin sons over there. So, at some point she happily adjusted, accommodated with that ashrama life later, after it was very clear to her. But this is one version, okay? But according to the other version views, Sitadevi was made to know. Sitadevi was informed in a personal, private way by Lord Rama because of the further issues of the gossips came up. And some say there was a curse for Lord Rama that he had to live separate from his wife. In the last portion of his lifetime, he could not have the happiness, continuous happiness of living with his wife together. A Muni gave some curse. But anyway, there is part of the Leela, another issue. But the fact was also that Lord Rama also kept the news, time to time kept the news of how she was doing. She was staying in ashram of Valmiki Muni. Okay, so he also got the news, information, some private way that he had sons. Sitadevi gave birth to his sons, Labkusha. Not that he only came to know about his sons for the first time, okay, when they met together in the battlefield, kind of. The news. So information was there. So he was keeping the information about how she was doing, how his sons doing. And he was convinced about that they were living their lives under the guidance of Valmiki Muni. So he was convinced and assured of that they were being well taken care of by his great devotee, Rishi Valmiki, in his ashrama. So it was kind of fine. So two different versions are there. I just wanted to clarify about that also. All right, Hare Krishna. I hope with these thorough explanations into this issue, now the proper conception will be received by the devotees after listening, hearing such thorough ways of analysis and explanations into the nature of Sita Rama Leela. After all, such painful feelings, most disappointing feelings in the mind of devotees about this issue, okay, as manifesting through such heart-touching questions will be resolved. Okay. Like in a similar way, like that Kurma Vipra, he was crying. Mahaprabhu found him. He was crying and fasting, not eating anything. Okay, thinking Rakshasa Ravana kidnapped my goddess Sitadevi. Lord Rama did not do anything. How can I tolerate such injustice? How can I tolerate such kind of happenings, such type of incidents happening to my mother Sita, my beloved goddess, mistress Sita? Oh, I cannot tolerate. I cannot take it. I'm losing all my joy of eating food, drinking, or resting. Okay, my goddess, my beloved goddess Sita had to take so much trouble, so much pain, and we could not do anything. Nobody could do anything. Ravana kidnapped Sita, Rakshasa. Nothing happened, no punishment even. Why no punishment even? Happened then and there. Why no punishment was given to that Rakshasa then and there by my Lord Rama? Why my goddess Sitadevi had to be in such position? So he was being very, very pained, very disappointed, pained, distressed. Upon seeing that, Mahaprabhu could experience into that Brahmanas, that Kurma Vipras, intense pain, intense painful feelings. Upon knowing that, then Mahaprabhu, as he went out of that temple, he entered another temple where same topics was being read out from the Purana, Kurma Purana. Same topics. And Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu was Antarjami, all knower. So he knew, so he entered into that temple at that time, maybe arranged by his divine will, some mystically arranged by the will of Lord. The same topics being read out, class being given on the same topics when Ravana was kidnapping Sitadevi. And it was clearly described in that Purana. It was illusory copy of the Sita. Ravana got hold of her, which emerged from that fire, but the real Sita was hidden inside that fire, came out of Laksmana Rekha. So Ravana could not even touch the real Sita. So then Mahaprabhu requested for that page from that Purana, original page. And of course they had some alternative books of the Purana. In those days, books were not in the printed form all the time, all copied manuscript mostly. So Mahaprabhu requested for that very page, where it was clearly described, the fact was clearly described, and immediately came back to that Brahmana, to that Ram Bhakta, great devotee of Lord Rama, and showed him, read it out to him from the page. Look, Ravana could never touch the real Sita. What Ravana kidnapped, what Ravana touched, it was just illusory copy of the Sita. So now you can please feel happy. Now please feel happy and eat some food. Don't be fasting. Don't be torturing yourself, thinking Ravana desecrated by touching your goddess Sita. He never did. He was never allowed to do it. This is the reality, is the fact. Understand? And now please eat something, eat and drink, live your normal happy life. Then as soon as that Brahmana came to know about it, what he never knew before. He never knew about that before. As soon as he came to know about, read from that scripture and explained by Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu himself, so affectionately, so much care, directly explained by Mahaprabhu himself. Then he felt a great relief. Immediately he felt a great relief, felt very happy about, understood it was a part of the Leela. By the will of Lord Rama, it was a part of the Leela. He wanted to have his Leela promoted in that way. Okay? For some certain purpose of the Leela. So he somehow he wanted, or it was arranged by Jogamaya to have the Leela organized in such a way to release Veera Rasa, heroic mellows, also to set some great examples in the world, in the human society, of protecting the good against the evil, protecting the good and destroying the evil. Otherwise, if there would be no such issue, there would be no war between, evil and good and evil. Ravana would not be destroyed. Ravana was the great king, epitome of the evil. That's how it is described. So Ravana was such powerful evil king, torturous, oppressive. Many other kings and other people all over the big portion of India was so suffering from the torturous activities of Ravana. So that Ravana had to be killed. Ravana, the personality, almost the embodiment of evil power, had to be destroyed to protect the good subjects. And as the emperor, as the ideal noble emperor, Lord Rama had the duty to protect the good subjects against the evil power. In order to create the scope for such things, to having war between evil and good, between good and evil, and destroy the evil eventually. Such Leela happened. Kind of. So then, that Brahmana, great devotee of Lord Rama, felt great relief, was relieved and felt happy. Became very, very happy, peaceful. And took prasadam, then rested. And so after gracing him, after bestowing benevolent grace on that Brahmana in that way, then Mahaprabhu again left for the other parts of his pilgrimage tour in South India. So this is what it is. Okay? We cannot always try to be understanding about the whole scenario, I repeat. We cannot try to be understanding about the whole nature of activities of Sita Rama only in earthly manner, only in a mundane way, worldly sense. It's beyond that. Because its nature need to be realized beyond, transcending that limits. So I'm humbly remaining here. Okay, I'm resting my Sita Rama Katha hearing. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shyabara Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. All glories to Divine Goddess Sitadevi, Divine God Lord Ramachandra. Hare Krishna.